Hello. So this morning we had some technical issues. So I'm sorry you couldn't attend the live satsang and we couldn't have our discussions like we usually do. So I'm obviously doing a recording now where it's just me sharing content. And I just want to thank those who have sent questions through so that I can address in this recording. So at least you feel that, your questions have been answered. So in particularly today, I want to focus on Andrew's question around why we get headaches before we tap into our today's topic of judgment, because I feel it just works perfectly well together. So that's a really good question. Thank you, Andrew, for asking, why do we get headaches? Because so many of us experience this, right? Some of us experience it more often than others. Some of us experience higher degrees of like migraines. So it's just good to understand what's happening. And so I'd like to answer this question by covering the various koshas. That's what we call in yoga, which are like layers of yourself, layers of the being. So the first is physical body. Yeah, that's the first layer. And, when it comes to headache, we're talking about, this section of the body in particular. We're talking about the tissues, the muscles, the fascia. All of that has a role in, how a headache is formed. So usually what happens in a headache is the tissues literally tense up, they contract, okay? And so that's why when we find that, we massage it out, it just allows for the tissues to just expand, to be more flexible and less tense. Energetically, what's happening is there is stagnation, energetic blockages in that region of the body. Okay? And so that's why once you massage it, you allow for better circulation as well. Okay, the emotional body is another kosha we cover, which is emotions. So sometimes what happens is we're not feeling a positive emotion that we suppress, and then it just gets stuck in the tissues. And that's why when we massage, we release the emotion as well. Sometimes we'll find that, as I massage this certain section of the body, a memory sparks around a certain event that took place. Okay, that's just the emotion that gets connected to that thought pattern or that event. And then there's also the mental body, okay? And that's where our thoughts have a huge role on, the symptoms that we're experiencing. So if you're having a lot of stressful negative thoughts, that creates the tissues to tense up, creates energetic, emotional blockages as well. So it's really important to know that we have many bodies, the physical, energetic, emotional, the mental body, and they all are interconnected and play a role on symptoms that we're experiencing. And then there's a spiritual body as well. So I just want to share with you what I do when I do get a headache, which I would say lately is less, considering that I'm consciously being mindful of what thoughts I'm putting through my head, and emotions are really managing them well. I'm journaling, I'm meditating, so it really helps. So I'm just going to share with you what I do. So fingers, I place them at the center of the forehead and I drag it out. And as I do this, I'm exhaling through my mouth. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And then I pause here, take deep breaths. Our fingers are really manipulating the tissues, moving energy. And the breath, breathing in prana, is also moving energy. Helps relax the tissues. I work my way up the crown of the head, dragging out. Once again, moving energy, any stagnation that's taking place. Giving some love to this region of your body. Working all the way to the back of the head. the back of the neck, all the way to the sides. Continue to breathe deeply. And then down the shoulders as well. We carry the weight of the world on our shoulders sometimes. Just releasing any sense of heaviness there. Beautiful. And then you're feeling lighter already. I know I am. Okay, so being really mindful. So when you do get a headache, notice, how do my tissues feel? Most likely they're feeling tensed up, right? Energetically, you're probably feeling heavy, right? A lot of heat, stagnation in this region that you want to just release. Mentally, what kind of thoughts are you having? Most of the time, they're thoughts of inadequacy, right? Of judgment, mostly of yourself, criticizing yourself, feeling not enough, right? Which causes all these blockages and a lot of tension in the head, a lot of thoughts. So letting them go, releasing, sending love to this area of your body, breathing deeply. Okay, awesome. So that's, I guess, what I'd like to share around headache. So definitely apply these kinds of movements in this region of your body. It's funny because I actually shared this last night in my yin class. It's perfect timing. Move the energy, let go of unserving thoughts about yourself and others. And so today I wanted to focus particularly on judgment because it is quite toxic. It affects all of us. I know I do it as well, judging myself, judging others. And a lot of the time when we're negatively judging, we don't feel good, right? We're feeling pain inside. Now, for some of you that might be quite new, you're like, oh, I didn't know judgment caused me pain. And especially if you're a lot in your head, right? Because judgment comes from thoughts. You're thinking about others negatively. You're thinking negatively of a situation. So you're all in your head. So we want to pause the mind when judgment takes place and come into the body and start to feel the pain inside. Okay. So I'm just going to show you a tool so that you can practice this. Because some of us can get really stuck in the head and one judgment thought comes after the other, she doesn't look good in this, I can't believe she's wearing that, or blah, 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 right? It just keeps going on. And so we want to pause. And so what I do as a physical anchor to pause my mind is gently with my fingers tapping on the third eye. So it's not like a whack, oh my God, I just caught myself judging. It's not like that. It's more of like a gentle touch to pause the mind, to become aware of your thoughts, and to take deep breaths. When you're focusing on your breath, there's no room for thought. Taking deep breaths, touching on your third eye to stay focused on the breath. And at this moment in time, that's when you want to check on how you're feeling. Okay? Because the general habit is when we're judging others, we're focusing externally, right? And if you're busy focusing externally, you can't feel or focus on yourself. You want to focus on yourself and do some internal cleansing, right? A lot of the time what happens is we already have pain or wound in the body and we're not aware of. Yeah, and so things happen in life, say a certain person does something and then, you're already feeling angry inside. And so that action that they did, for example, someone accidentally spilled coffee on you, you're already feeling angry. And then you start judging them, how clumsy, blah, 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 right? But really, right, that judgment sparked from the pain that was already in you, right? Or maybe you're judging someone, the way they look or, how they're behaving, right? And you're focusing externally. But if you're really looking inside, perhaps there's a sense of inadequacy, right? And that's why you find yourself judging others to make yourself feel better, right? That's why we judge and we compare ourselves to others, because deep down we're feeling helpless or powerless or inadequate. So this action of pausing the mind, reframing from the external world, taking deep breaths, and focusing on how you're feeling is going to address the root cause of judgment. And that's really important to understand. That judgment of the mind is focusing externally. We want to focus on the root cause of the judgment, which is how you feel inside. So pausing, deep breaths, notice your pain body, how you're feeling. A lot of us are carrying pain in our bodies. You know, for long periods, you might feel in pain in your shoulders, right? Your chest, your belly, your lower back. And these are all symptoms of energetic blockages, right? Emotions stuck in your tissues that have not been released. So by being mindful of how you're feeling, especially when you're being triggered, when you find yourself projecting or judging on others, is so important to healing your pain body. Okay, so I hope that this share really encourages you to review the mind, right? Notice when you're jumping into that habit of judging others, to pause, to breathe, and to check in with yourself, and to clear out any emotions that are unserving. Yes, if we all just focus on ourselves, our own emotional well-being, and refrain from judging others, right? There'll be less arguments, there'll be more peace, we'll feel more content inside, and we'll just all be more happy. And everyone wants to be around happy, uplifting people, not judgmental, negative people with outbursts of emotions. So I hope that this discussion here or my share really helps you become more aware of how am I, right, showing up in this world, right? How are my habits around judgment? And, if you find that you do judge, which is normal, we all do, how often do you stop yourself from spiraling into more negative judgment and pausing to really check in with how you truly feel deep down? And it could just be like fear or, not feeling safe. And that's why you're judging others, right? Because you don't feel safe in that moment. So really check in and refrain from blaming the other person, but instead coming back to yourself, think, okay, what can I do that will empower me, that will make me feel better, instead of coming into this arguing or blaming or shaming or pointing the finger. Okay, so thank you for listening in. Keep the questions coming. They really help in terms of letting me know what kind of content is being needed to share. So again, thank you, Andrew, for that great question. I felt it tied in with today's topic perfectly. We're very aligned. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, do comment below this video if you're on social media, or we're sending it out to our members at Carja Yoga too via email, so you can always email us back with questions, because obviously today's live chat did not come into fruition, but I'm sure everything has a reason. And so I'm just glad that I'm able to record this message anyway, and that you can listen in your own time. Awesome. So let's all lift our vibration and take responsibility for our lives and our own happiness, and be better versions of ourselves for the community, for our family and friends. Okay, lots of love to you all. Namaste. Goodbye for now.